Hello and welcome to ArtShow. I'm Craig Stover, and today I have with me Domenica Brockman.
Hi,
Hey, how are
Craig.
you today?
Great. How are you?
Very good. I had a lot of fun going through your work to select certain pieces. And so I wanted to start with this one. I know it's a little bit older, but I really enjoy it. And so this was a series that you did of landscapes that when did this end, this series?
This particular one is actually more recent. That was
Is
just
it?
done last year. Yeah.
Okay. So
There were
are you
two.
revisiting these then?
Yes, yes. So there's two sections on my website of old landscapes and then newer ones. And I've sort of moved back into this almost tonalist tradition of landscape painting, which is sort of new to me, like if you compare it to the old style. But yeah, I painted landscapes for the first when I first got really serious about making art,
Uh-huh.
for about the first 3 years, and this was like about 10 years ago, and then I completely stopped, went completely abstract, and
Okay.
then last year I took an interesting workshop with the artist Jason Worrell
Hmm.
and or Justin Worrell, and he it just kind of was the first time I'd painted landscape again, and I just kind of, it sort of caught fire again. And so now I'm doing both, which this and the abstract, which is really an interesting balance
Oh yeah.
to
I mean,
play.
I do the same thing because I
Uh-huh.
I realize that you can learn from one and bring into the other and vice
Yes.
versa. Yeah, I love the geometry of this, right?
Thank
It's so
you.
simple, the simple thirds and the way it all works, the
Yeah.
tonalities of it. Yeah, good piece.
Yeah.
Really,
Thank you.
really good piece.
Thank you.
Uh,
I'm thinking about all those things, of course,
yeah,
the things that make a good composition
yeah.
and what I've been working on for so long now with abstraction and then bringing it back to what I was doing before. But I was surprised I have like new painting skills, like new, that after not doing these for 10 years. So
Yeah.
kind of neat.
Well,
This is older.
right. This is older, but to me, this informs your abstract work that you do, right? The
Yes.
the palette, the geometry, only the shapes are different, I think.
So I have two things to say about this painting. One was it was one of the last paintings before I moved into complete abstraction.
That makes
So
sense.
you can see that. The other thing that's funny is that all the shapes come from the wood underneath it. So
Hmm.
basically, I was painting on a piece of plywood and I had those patterns. And I
Mm.
just kind of looked at it and was like, what are you telling me? And I was like, oh, I see a landscape. And I just painted it like almost like coloring in the lines, like as if, like color by numbers or something, but I was making up the colors. And the only thing where I freestyled it was the sun. So every other line was actually given to me by the wood.
Is that something that you've done before? Have you previously painted on found
I've always painted
material?
on wood, but I never responded to the wood, you know.
Oh, okay.
So this was, and I did like maybe three in this vein
Hmm.
before I went completely to abstraction. So I
Okay.
think it speaks to like all the ways we get ideas as artists, like where they come from. Like
Right.
sometimes it's like staring you in the face. And, like I don't know, I didn't feel compelled to do a ton of these, but this was.
Right. Well, I had a question about secret geometry, essentially, but I'm kind of wondering now, is it informed by nature?
Mhm.
So when I come across something like this, are you actively seeking out that kind of balanced geometry or secret geometry, or is it now because of the landscapes? Does it happen automatically?
I'm definitely actively seeking something out. In these sort of spot or pebble paintings or whatever you want to think of them as, those shapes, what I'm really responding is to the way shapes in nature will sort of fall together in a certain way and make space between them. So, like if I live near Cayuga Lake, which is full of shale rock that is like gets rounded. And so when you look
Mm,
at the stones, they look like sort of like these rounded edges like this. And when they're all flat on the ground and in one layer, this is how they relate to each other.
hmm.
So I'm sort of thinking about that. Um, And the other thing that I'm thinking about in this particular piece is the tonal value.
Hmm.
So I sort of lay out all my colors and look at them like dark to light. And
Hmm.
then I actually take a picture of it and turn it black and white and then see where the gray ranges are and then arrange them according to that.
Uh-huh.
And then,
Nice trick.
yeah, yeah. And so that was a way to like put the colors together that kind of gave me that dark to light, but maybe in a slightly unexpected way. That
Are you doing a lot of mixing beforehand then? Are you laying out your
um,
entire palette?
Yeah, yeah. With
Huh?
encaustic, it's interesting because you're often working with lumps of colored wax,
Right.
so you can kind of just lay out your color palette, and then that's going to stay pure. Like it's not going to mix up with anything else. Um, so
Well,
yeah, to be,
this one in particular, it just works, right? I mean, geometry works. It even looks like it's on a golden rectangle. I mean, so
yes,
uh,
yeah, definitely thinking about that. I love
okay.
that you know this stuff, so Craig. Like it's like 'cause these
I
are
just cut right to it.
yeah. Always think
So
about that rectangle and the rule of thirds and all that stuff.
it's all in there. But eventually, at some point, you do it so much, I find, at least for myself, it comes out naturally.
Mhm.
I stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
But when I saw a piece like this, I couldn't help but think of the works of Hilma F. Klimt.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
My favorites.
is she? Is she a
Oh, absolutely.
driver?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And this piece is a little bit bigger.
No, it's the same as the other one,
Is it?
24 by 36.
Okay. Is that a
Yeah.
comfortable size for you?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's probably my most, honestly, like I have to confess, it has to do with what's easy to ship. Like I think it's about the
Yeah.
largest
Yeah.
painting I can ship. So I become sort of a standard, like larger size, or mid-size piece for me.
If you had the ability, would you paint much larger, or do you just really
Yeah.
love that size?
I mean, I like this size a lot. Like even when I was doing landscapes, this size is just like a good one to sort of, you can sort of spread your arms wide, but it's not, you don't have to climb on a ladder, you know.
When you're making something like this, is is the landscape still in your mind, or have you tried
Yes,
to? Okay.
it is and it isn't. I mean, it's a lot of the same concerns. Like
Right.
you're still thinking about composition, you're still thinking of lights to darks, color relationships. And I kind of think of the landscapes as almost like places I want, well, all of it is like places I want to be.
Mm.
So it's like with this, it's like a color experience I want to have, but this could be a meadow. Like
Yeah.
it could be some, it's a place I want to be basically in terms of color
Because
and
when
shape.
I saw this in the landscapes, I realized, you ditched depth here.
Mhm.
So my mind turns to maps, honestly. So I'm just kind of wondering, is that anything that's ever occurred,
Turn,
or
what did you say?
turns it into a map
Oh, a map.
because there's no
Yes. Yeah.
depth in it?
Topographical views.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely
Yeah.
something I think about with these pieces. When I first started doing the abstracts, I was working a lot in grids because I was working small, like 12 by 12, and then assembling them to make images. And this one, like, it was later on, realized I don't have to have everything on, like, to put 12 or 9 12-inch
Mm.
squares together is kind of difficult and make them line up perfectly. And
Hmm.
I'm sure you would know. And so this was putting my grid on one board.
Yeah.
So, and not having it all separate pieces. So it kind of evolved out of those partial pieces, and like almost making a puzzle and assembling
Hmm.
it. So a
To
lot of
me,
the
what really works in this painting, it's on that right side where the line is not quite straight. It's a little,
yeah,
that's what really brings the whole picture
yeah,
together for me.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I like that.
yeah.
Uh,
Thank you.
so I saw this, got really excited. Shaped canvases, right?
Hmm.
So is this a pre-found shape? Are you cutting wood and painting on it? How is this practice?
These are mounted. I found somebody who could make shaped canvases for me. And
Hmm.
in this particular case, I wanted to basically do a large version of something like the piece we just looked at, and thought, oh, I can do it all. And so I ordered all these shapes, and they were half circles. So these are two half circles that are different sizes.
Hmm.
And eventually I had this one idea where I was going to do three half circles like stacked on each other. And when I did it, it was sort of like if you take the top half as painting and like cover it up, it's just like the bottom. So imagine three of those stacked. It looked like a corporate logo and not like art. So I needed to sort of come up with some new ideas. And this was taking a smaller half circle and putting it together. And then it became really interesting to me because now I think of it as like two vanishing points on a horizon line.
Oh yeah. When I saw this, I
Yeah,
immediately started. I was wondering, like, oh, is she messing with the Fibonacci sequence where she's like
yeah, yeah,
doubling it over?
totally.
And that's, this
Yeah.
is what I really enjoy is paintings that I've got more questions than answers to when I walk away.
Mhm,
And this one,
mhm,
I need to see this one in person. Uh,
mhm.
it's an extraordinary piece.
Thank you.
Um, so one final one.
Yeah.
This is a little bit different. So is this part of a series where you didn't stretch?
Yeah, I was doing these on basically drop cloths that had a nice hemmed edge, which was cool,
Mm-hmm.
or canvas drop cloths from the hardware store. And I basically I was going to do three all complementary colors and just do the color mixing
Mm-hmm.
from red to green. So this was called Journey from red to green or green to red. I can't remember, but anyway, it was just taking that, starting from a pure color of like pure green and then mixing it with the reds until you got to pure red, and then going the other direction from um and it was just really enjoyable for me to like get all those interesting tones between those
Yeah.
colors. And I did another one in blue to orange, and I've still got the purple to yellow sort of in the back of my mind. But they're long. They take a long time, these
Yeah.
guys.
I liked the idea that it reminds me of tie dye,
Yeah.
but controlled, right? Because of all
Mhm.
the colors and the way it kind of goes through. Yeah, extraordinary piece.
Thank you.
It
What you're
become.
saying about tie dye, encaustic is kind of
Mhm.
like that, and it's very like loose and drippy. And so what I'm always trying to do is rein that in, like
Mhm.
rein in the lack of control. Like I like the spontaneity, but I also need it to have, and like it's like a trimmed hedge. You
Yeah,
love the hedge, but it's like just a weed if you don't trim it.
right.
So in this case, it's like a tie dye, but it's got this a lot of control. And actually, like it's really hard to paint those like angles and like get everything perfect.
Yeah.
So that was, it was a challenge, and it was a fun.
So I had other questions, but I wanted to start with this just because of our discussion. Uh, do you find yourself ever reworking your pieces? Because they look very immediate. They don't look like.
Pretty much immediate most of the time, unless I feel like it's not successful. And then I have a pile of non-successful pieces that I will rework. And,
Okay.
sometimes that'll give me a new idea to do, but I like it to feel kind of
Yeah.
freshly
Do
out
they
of.
get just does the reject pile get cut up and collaged or just painted over entirely?
I mean, if it's encaustic, I kind of melt it and paint over it,
Mm-hmm.
because most of my work is on wood.
Uh-huh.
So it's not so easy to like cut it up, you
All right.
know. Yeah.
Dumb technical question. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no, it's really, I geek out on that stuff. I love it. I love technique.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask you in particular, do you have an earliest memory of being exposed to art? Like when you were a little kid, do you have
Oh
something that,
yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a bunch of early memories, but like
what's the earliest?
I remember coming home from kindergarten with my first masterpiece,
Uh-huh.
and my mother putting it in a frame and feeling so proud. And it was
Uh-huh.
something that involved like tissue paper. Like I'd done something that nobody else in the class had done. And that was
Hmm.
kind of the satisfaction. It was like everyone else was gluing it flat, and I'd scrunched it up into like flower shapes and like glued it down. And my mother, God bless her, like she has always been my biggest advocate. So like when she told me it was great, I was like, okay, I'm an artist.
That was enough dopamine that, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to be an artist.
Yeah.
Do you
But
still have that piece
gosh, she probably has it somewhere. I wouldn't
somewhere?
be surprised.
That goes right
Um,
in the archive.
yeah, actually, she has this whole like portfolio of my early scribbles. And I was like, but she finally gave me, but I don't know how you kept this, Mom, but thank you. Thank you for the faith.
So take me along. At what point in your life, or maybe then, do you decide to be an artist? Like that, when
I mean,
does it get
probably
locked in?
about then, but I grew up in Africa. So
Okay.
I live in Ithaca now. I went to kindergarten up till I was 6 years old. We moved to Tanzania. And then after that, we lived all over Africa right through high school. So I graduated high school from the American School of Kinshasa in what is now the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And then I came here, came back to Ithaca, went to Cornell, studied fine arts, blah, blah. And
Was was there anybody in particular that you thought was instrumental in your development?
I mean, I would say the most instrumental thing was growing up with African art around me my
Hmm.
whole life. And there's this spiritual element to it and storytelling element. My work isn't so much about storytelling, but it is the spiritual element is very important to me. And that's how I also relate to Hilma Klint and, you know, many other artists.
Yeah.
But that would be, I would say was also like what like sort of the definition of what art is
Right.
was broad for me because I wasn't stuck in, with just a sort of Western tradition.
Well, I'd
And
be curious then to know when you're in your studio, what sparks that creativity? Is it your history, or are you seeking new things? Music, literature? Who knows?
ooh, I mean, what sparks it for me is just kind of playing, like
Okay.
going in there and playing. So it's like getting color. So I try not to, like, it's not that I try not to, but I'm not very good at taking a concept and seeing it through. Like, I feel like there's something that gets kind of lost in translation when I try to make something.
So it's better
So
to just grow it organically.
yeah, yeah. So like a lot of times I'll start with just painted paper, for
Hmm.
example, and then cut some shapes that I like and then just spend a lot of time arranging. So I'm
Hmm.
kind of working it almost through the back door. Like I feel like those things what I described with the squares and rearranging them, like that is the way I really like to work because it kind of takes away the efforting part that
Hmm.
I'm going for this thing and lets
Right.
chance happen because I think that's for me it's an important part. Like otherwise it looks self-conscious and like you tried to make.
Forced. Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is
exactly.
kind of like an organized play, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, to try to
Do you,
let the
when you're in your studio or when you're out of your studio, do you keep a sketchbook?
I do. I do.
You do.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it anything that you would ever show?
No. No. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of it is writing, actually. So,
Uh-huh.
like observations and thoughts and things like
Hmm.
that, which are kind of deeply personal. And then for yeah, drawing, not so much, because it's almost like I need it to kind of almost happen.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Huh.
but I'm going back to school, which is like, I mentioned this in my text message to you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
To the New York Studio School. So I'm doing like a remote program where I'll be working in my studio with
Mm.
a community, which is what I really need right now because being
Mm.
an artist is such a lonely thing, you
Have
know.
Have you ever worked with other people in your studio? Is that something that you've done
Uh
before?
no, no, I need the privacy of my studio, I think,
Okay.
but I also need like community and I found that with like social media for a long time. Like social media was my art community, and I found so many great artists that way. And it just started to feel toxic,
Hmm.
probably at the beginning of this year. And so I kind of had pulled away. And with that, I was like, well, wait, where's my community now? If I'm not doing this. So
I totally understand what you're saying.
yeah. So I started taking these art marathons at the studio school, which are like these 10-day intensive courses.
Uh-huh.
And I really liked just being immersed in like creating. And so I'm planning to answer your question about drawing, like I'm planning to do a ton more because we have a lot of drawing.
What's not to like about that?
I'm just
So,
so excited. Yeah.
so one of the questions I immediately thought of when I first came across your work, and it's just this is going to be impossible to answer, but let's talk about color, right?
Mhm.
Um, what does color mean to you?
I mean, I adore color. Like it's really, I think, I mean, it's a vibration, right? It's like sound. Like there's something, I think there's waves.
Hmm.
So and of course, color is most exciting in combinations. Color alone is kind of nothing, but if you
Hmm.
put, it's like two musical notes, you put them together and they start doing something.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I adore color and I like to like play, just
Okay.
immerse myself in it, which is why what pulls me to the studio and
Do
what,
you find it central to your work?
yes.
Okay, that
Yes.
makes sense.
I mean, it can be black and white and still be color in my eye.
Yeah.
Um, but sometimes I just go and need to work with certain colors because it's almost like a health thing. Like in the dead of winter when I live in Ithaca, New York, it's very gray in the winter. It's like I need orange and I need green and I'll just like work with that in
Hmm.
February and March and it's almost like taking medicine.
Yeah.
Like it feels medicinal, like drinking
Yeah.
juice.
I wonder why, if that's why they make pills colors. I'm not sure.
I
Uh,
wonder.
one of the other questions I wanted to ask, because I did come across, a lot of paintings on your website. Are there other mediums that you haven't done yet that you've been thinking like, ooh, I should put my finger into that?
Curious to do more sculpture.
Sculpture.
Yeah,
Have you ever done sculpture before?
a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've done ceramics, and when I
Okay.
did ceramics, it veered more towards sculpture anyway.
Can you think three dimensionally? Is that something that?
I mean, I'm kind of interested in. Actually, I'm about to go do a marathon at the studio school in relief,
Oh,
which I'm
okay.
really interested in like sort of potentially building up the surfaces of my paintings more. So, I'm already working somewhat with collage, so there's already some texture and
Hmm.
depth, and texture is important in my work to me in a lot of the abstract. So then it's like, what if,
Hmm.
what can come
I'd
off it?
like to see that. I'd
Yeah,
love to see what sculptural works out of your stuff.
yeah.
When you're in your studio, first off, how often are you in your studio?
I mean, usually I'm there every day for at least 4 hours. The summer has been sort of felt like a weird rupture, but
Mhm.
part of that is that lack of continuity. Like for me, the social media was like part of the feedback loop. You'd make some work, you'd post it, you get some feedback on it, you keep going, and it's just kind of this rolling thing. And pulling away from that has kind of left me feeling like, ooh, like what am I making art for if no one sees it? And
Right.
that's why school is going to be important, I think.
That'd be great to see that. So when you're in your studio, well, this is a weird question, but I love asking this question. Do you have any studio rituals that you do?
A little
Anything that
bit.
you
Yeah, I
do
mean,
that
yeah, I've got a
gets you
couple.
moving?
I got a couple of ritual-y things. Like I've got my special. I have a few crystals. I have some like
Okay.
incense. I
All
don't
right.
do that every time. Like
Right.
honestly, the first thing I do when I need to get back to work or like coming back from a trip or something is clean. Like just get organized. So if I can't get inspired, I'll just go put everything away, sweep the floor, and slowly just spending time in there. You know this. I know because you're
Yeah.
an artist. Like you spend time in your space, and like even if you're just flipping through an art book or something, like ideas start to percolate, and then you
Yeah.
find yourself doing something.
I have quite a few artists that tell me like, "Oh, I ruined my studio, so cleaning it is my ritual the next
Uh-huh.
day."
Yeah.
It's always surprising. A lot of artists tell me they have to turn on the radio and have a cup of tea and a
Mhm.
sandwich or something
Oh,
else.
I do that too. I
Yeah.
mean, eating, you got to be all set.
So we have time for just two more questions.
Sure.
Going by quick. One is this is also another question that I thought of for you. When you look at your work, your body of work, do you consider the body of work that you've done to be autobiographical in nature?
Hmm.
Or are you trying to maybe make something that's separate from yourself, or maybe a third option?
I mean, I I've defined them as inner landscapes, all
Hmm.
of them. So even if it's an outer landscape, it's kind of a place I want to be. And that's kind of how I feel with all of it. It's like, that piece that you showed before. It's like, I just want to be in that color. I just want to be like a pebble on the beach or, lined up. I just want to be there. So,
Right.
or I want to be in that moonlit landscape. Like, it's just where I want to go. So
That
it
makes
allows me to travel a little bit.
that's fantastic. So, uh, last question. Simple question I ask almost every artist. What does making art do for you?
Keeps me sane, keeps me happy, makes me feel like I'm doing my life's purpose. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming by and talking with me today.
Thanks,
I
Craig.
learned so much about your work. This is fantastic. Now I got to go back and take a look at it. And I want to thank everybody who tuned in to our show today. We really appreciate your support. Of course, we would love it if you like and subscribe. That actually pushes our show to more people. So, again, Domenica, thank you very much for today. I really appreciate
Thanks, Craig.
it.
Lovely talk.
Take care.
Bye.